And welcome back once again to the PCS Spring Split 2022. We are working our way into the second half of games here as we are about to bring you Mega Bank Beyond Gaming taking on Hurricane Gaming. We'll see who comes out on top in that one. But before we do, I would like to take a moment to thank our sponsors, CTBC Bank and Caliber. Thank you for making the PCS possible. Now, Clement, on paper, this is definitely a pretty hefty favorite in the Mega Bank Beyond Gaming category. And that's before they won the Battle of the Banks last week, being the only team to knock off CFO.
I think this match is super interesting because we have the slowest team in the PCS in Beyond Gaming, and then we have the fastest team coming out in terms of champion kills per minute on the side of Hurricane Gaming. So this one is it's very interesting in these the cross section of these playstyles because Beyond Gaming themselves don't really play much of a laning phase. They actually wait for the mid game until they get chances to split push and then flank you. They're not super aggressive earlier on, and what that has allowed Hurricane Gaming to do is actually get some of these sort of mid and late game plans online. So it could be a very different look than what we usually see out of Hurricane Gaming, which is, you know, them kind of getting just rolled over.
There are definitely signs of life on this squad, and I think if they have an earlier time, or an easier time early, I should say, that gives them the opportunity, because we talked about some strong players coming out of that roster. I think ICU is definitely one to watch out for as far as the newer players to the PCS stage. Bang 2 has also shown to be pretty competent, and I really want to see if they can step up to the plate, but it is a tough opponent, at least out of that laning phase. Mega Bank Beyond Gaming, Liang in the top, Husha in the jungle, Minji in mid, Wako and Kino leading it in the bottom side. Now, I feel like Wako in particular has definitely slotted in very well to this team. There was always a big question to ask of how well he was going to be able to fill the doggo shoes. Well, certainly no slouch, as he is the first in damage percentage at the moment among AD carries, third in the DPM, which means he is dishing up his fair duty even when he is relied upon, and also certainly not a bad player at staying alive, dishing out the kills, fourth in the KDA department. And honestly, him and Kino just look natural together.
They definitely do. I feel like they have very much the same approach. They all came out from the AHQ system, so this is pretty much means that you're going to go forward, you're going to try and kill something, and if you die, so be it. That's kind of the mentality between these two players. And it's really interesting because they run a very different ship from everyone else. They are primarily a 1-3-1 sort of team, and you don't usually expect a super heavy engage kind of duo when you're running 1-3-1. Usually the 1-3-1 option, if you're an AD carry, is you try to stay put and just clear the wave, but Beyond Gaming don't really do that. They are super aggressive when going for this style. And, you know, talking about the 1-3-1 a little bit more, I think this is the strongest team when you give them Akali and Tryndamere. Both of those champions on this team are completely flawless. They're over 10 KDA a piece from Liang and Minji, so you have to pay attention to those.
Absolutely. Hopefully Hurricane will be paying attention for the picks and bans. They are, of course, ICU in the top side, Olio in the jungle, Cha-Cha in the mid, followed up by Bang 2 and Enhao. And I really do want to focus my attention bot and top side, because ICU is definitely a strong individual player, loves those side lane carries, could give Liang a little bit of a taste of his own medicine. And for Bang 2, I think as long as he doesn't opt into these like weird like counter picks like they tried with the Twitch versus Azeri or something like that, like try to keep it standard. We've seen some Jinx games on him. I really don't think he's a bad player in any metric, and he's been able to keep his team alive probably longer than they should have been in some of these games. I think the team just needs to rally around him.
I definitely agree with you, and I feel like in their previous draft, that was sort of the idea behind the composition, is they try to play a straight-up 5v5, a super late scaling composition with the Azir coming in from Cha-Cha, and traditionally that has been the weakness to Beyond Gaming. You know, they're not exactly a great 5v5 team, especially when playing front to back. They're not really used to that style. So I feel like Hurricane Gaming had the correct read, but as you can see from the gold deficit, they didn't really have the mid game to kind of back up that sort of scaling strategy. So they're really sitting on the crossroads. Where will they go? Are they going to go with a more Bang 2 favored route where it's about him in the hyper carry role, or are they going to go for something a little bit more tricky, like they've tried with the Tristana or the Twitch, the kind of burst route for Bang 2?
I don't like it. I hope they go back to basics and just, this is a year, this is a meta that AD carries, hyper scaling, hyper carrying bot laners just do so much. Just give him the opportunity. Give him the Jinx. I mean, even the Aphelios could also work out fine. Obviously, Zeri has to be banned on the red side, but if you really wanted to try and give it away, probably a bad idea. you might get your pick outside of that. I don't know. Maybe this is the team that pulls out the Renata. We keep talking about it, but we've yet to see it here on patch 12.4. Clement?
Yeah, it's definitely more of a situational pick. We have mentioned she's not really strong engaged, like compared to Leona or Nautilus, doesn't really fill that category, and is a very different champion in terms of enchanters as well. Doesn't push the lane as hard. So I think she's going to be very situational against like dive compositions. Take a look at the bans here. Hurricane Gaming, well, they definitely got the memo. Taking out the Tryndamere and the Akali, I think everyone is going to do that. Minji still has that trusty Zoe, but I think in Season 12, it really hasn't been as strong of a champion overall.
The Ahri's still there too. I mean, worth keeping in mind, if he doesn't get the Akali, Ahri's been rising in priority. It's right up Minji's alley. He's had 2 successful games on it already. But of course, the Xin Zhao, a little higher prio right now for Husha. Going to pick that one up, denied away from Olio, who has also been a little bit of a troubling point on this Hurricane Gaming squad. Of course, role swap from the mid lane and name change from Zhao of Alpha Esports fame last year. I don't know what to make of his jungle performance so far. It has definitely been a little iffy. So maybe deprioing him for different picks makes a lot of sense here. As the Graves does come in, that should be ICU's champion choice. And yeah, you definitely want to pick your AD carry up early in this rotation. It will be the Jinx for Bang 2.
Yeah, I think this is definitely the standard pick, and it does showcase that they most likely are going to go for a later game strategy, a 5v5 strategy, if I had to guess. And for Beyond Gaming, this is pretty much just stock standard, going down with the tier list. Jinx gone, Aphelios is up next, Gwen hasn't been taken, let's go with Gwen. And in this situation, it's interesting because typically we have seen ICU actually counterpick for the Gwen. We've seen the Jax, we have seen the Jace come out, and he's actually been very successful in those matchups. However, this time, because of the blind Graves, they're not really going to get that opportunity. Hurricane Gaming, in the meantime, also picking up a Tom Kench, so not looking to play engage, instead just trying to go for more of a keep your backline safe and out-damage them with range strategy.
Okay, so clearly Beyond don't believe that this is necessarily a top lane Graves as they ban out the Jax ICU side. It could always be flexed, I suppose, into the jungle, potentially. I mean, maybe we've even seen it mid lane on a handful of occasions. But for Hurricane Gaming, the focus right now is on banning away Kino as they open up with the Thresh. The problem with trying to ban away Kino is Kino's a set player. Like, yeah, he's going to be fine.
And we have to mention, Set this patch was actually buffed by quite a large amount. He gets to about 120 free HP at level 18, so much stronger than before, much tankier than before. And as we talked about, those Gwen counters are rolling out on Beyond Gaming's ban list. The Jace goes as well. And I have to say, this is probably a correct read. I definitely see Olio as someone that would just take Graves into the jungle. I'll be honest, I don't really like Graves jungle. It doesn't get enough resources for it to pop off. But there we go.
I don't like the Nartop either. Yeah. Showed the hand, and also, like, I mean, we were just talking about this last game, how it's just it's a risky pick, you know? I think Beyond can very easily, like, lock in the Ahri here if they want. There's lots of options. I do like the flash onto the Azir saying, hey, Cha-Cha, you should notice anything familiar. But yeah, it's going to be the Ahri, and now we just see the final pickup. This will be the support for Kino. Nautilus, of course, being left open, that's also a no-brainer. He's played it, of course, more than Set, it being more of his pocket pick in that regard. And now there are a number of good mid lane mages that Cha-Cha can play against, but I do worry about his survivability against Minji.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the big question here. Most mages have a difficult time dodging the charm if Ahri is willing to flash onto you, and they already have the best jungler in the game, in the early game, in Xin Zhao right now, so that combo is going to be very easy to execute. And I think this is a huge test for Beyond Gaming. So far, we have not been able to see them play a tempo game. They are the slowest team in the entire league. They take their sweet time, and they only have 0.7 champion kills per minute. So not a very bloody team at all. The early game has been a little bit stale, and I think that's the issue that they have compared to some of the J-Team teams like DCG and CFO have very strong starts, while Beyond Gaming has stuck to their tradition in the 1-3-1 where they kind of fall behind early and then they slowly rev up.
Yeah, and I think there's always an opportunity for teams to try and set them on the back foot when they do that. Kind of ironic. That's exactly the opposite of what happened against the likes of CTBC Flying Oyster last week. But that's like the exception rather than the rule, right? Because they were just starting out early with Husha on that Rek'Sai getting the big plays. Hurricane Gaming, I think they do have a window to act, but there are a lot of strong comfort picks on Mega Bank Beyond Gaming's side, and I would worry if I were them. I do think they are putting a lot of emphasis on protecting the Jinx. You know, even with the change Tom Kench, it kind of always feels like a little bit more of a protection counter engage sort of lane. But the question is, can they get out of the laning phase unscathed?
Yeah, I feel like that's going to be a really difficult one to go through. Victor is not going to have a fun time against these two champions. In terms of the team fight scenario, I actually do like Hurricane Gaming's composition. They have that sort of range, just static range advantage with the auto attack from Jinx going up to 720 range, 25, and then you also have the Victor that outranges the Ahri as well. So if they can make it to the late game, it's a very strong sort of kiting composition. As long as you're not wiped on the first go, you can slowly inch back, and you have a lot of terrain control coming through with that gravity field and the smoke screen as well. So this is a well-built composition. The question is, can they actually survive the Xin Zhao and Ahri? That's going to be where all the attention is at. Again, Ahri is very much like a hybrid between a mage and an assassin. If she gets to go forward, then she just won't stop.
Yeah, last time these teams met back in week 2, it was definitely the Minji show, as he put on quite the performance on an Akali that left Cha-Cha killless in this game, even on Razir. Oh, no! You hate to see it to start things off as he tried to dash away. Minji follows for first blood, and it doesn't get a lot worse than that. But Hurricane will try to get revenge on Wako down bottom.
It does look like Wako will get some help here, and he is able to walk away without burning any summoners, but we have to mention that start was absolutely huge. They get to track wherever Graves is, and that just means so many more ganking opportunities for Husha. He knows that he's not going to get counter-ganked in a lot of these situations, and that means he can go all in with these ganks. So we'll have to track how each sides play towards that respectively. We do have an interesting thing coming in from Hurricane Gaming. They are pulling the wave close, which means that they can keep themselves out of harm's way if that Xin Zhao gank somehow does come. In the meantime, we also have to mention Hurricane Gaming do spot out where Husha is, so that might not negate some of these early pressures.
Yeah, okay. Going forward on Enhao early on, and nothing really going to come of that. Yeah, the silver lining of the Graves getting first blooded so early is he gets right back to his camp without really losing a whole lot of time. So, hashtag could be worse.
Flash for 400 gold. That's kind of the trade that you're doing right there. It's actually more than 400 because there was an assist going down there as well. Yeah.
If I was Cha-Cha, I'd just be like, seriously? Come on! It's so rough, right? Because he got kind of bodied last time around, and he's going to try to play back and safe, but we'll see if his Victor mechanics are solid. I mean, we've seen Cha-Cha be much more comfortable on these control mages.
I see you not having a fun time in this matchup.
No. Opted into this on the Gnar bar. I mean, we've seen this exact matchup just happen. Did not go the Gnar's way.
Yeah, I feel like the Gnar can get an advantage if his lane is pushing, but not vice versa. And in this case, everyone on the map knows that the jungler is going bottom lane for Aliao and Husha's going top. So there's not a lot ICU can do at this point. He just kind of has to survive here. He can't push out. If he push out, he's just dead. So that's what he has to do there. And unfortunately, Cha-Cha, as the wave is coming in, does take a pause here. And it gives us a really good glimpse on the map there. We also have Ahri traveling towards the top side of the map. We've seen in both games that Babe played today, he is running with Minion Dematerializer, which does give him a lot of chance to make those roams sort of happen. And the question really is, when we come back, can ICU survive the tough position he's been put in? Yeah,
I think the Gnar bar definitely ran out just a little bit before that play, so really good timing read by Beyond Gaming. You talk about how this is a squad that have been a little bit slower. It's just been much more the identity to try and get into the later stages to get that 1-3-1 going, and they certainly seem to have built themselves a composition to try and make plays early on. We're seeing the openings of it here as we kind of get that rare opportunity to sort of dissect it before it happens because of the pause. And it is just such an unfortunate start to see that early gold go over to a player like Minji, who is just known for snowballing on these more assassin-style champions, and Ari kind of being a little bit more of a flavor of the month right now, popping up more and more and more. It just gives him another threatening tool. It means you try to ban out Zakali, he's going to pull this out, he's going to be just fine. And I think Minji as a player is somebody who can just take a lead and run with it. So already you're off on a little bit of a back foot, and you are playing defensive in 3 lanes. So we know that the side of Hurricane are going to try and get out of this laning phase, minimizing their losses. Let's see if they can do it. ICU. I think they all see him. Leon going in for the push. They're looking for the setup on the dive. Takes a little bit of damage. The hop, the skip, the jump, but right back. Interrupted. Actually denies it on the boomerang. Don't push your luck, buddy, but that's not too bad.
Yeah, really well played coming in from ICU, but I believe he's still going to go down. Yeah.
Well, couldn't last forever, I suppose, but he tried with the flash and the fancy footwork. Does burn 2 sums for 1, but also loses his life. Meanwhile, down bottom, Thing 2 definitely showing he can hang with Locko and Kino, and Cha-Cha trying his best to dodge out of harm's way in a CS deficit. Now the lane gank coming in for Olio.
Yeah, but we do have to see Enhao somehow be able to keep Kino in place, or else they don't have crowd control to really make this one happen. And I'm really doubtful with the lane pushing in. How are they going to find this gank? This seems more like a cover gank, but it's also kind of weird for a cover gank because you just saw the top lane dive. So yeah, that was kind of a weird positioning coming in from the Graves. I think it makes a little bit more sense now for him to be there, as we have Beyond Gaming going in for the kill with the help of Xin Zhao nearby.
Yeah, they're trying to bait on this one, but double root comes through. Let's see if they have the answer on the smoke screen. Should be able to find Kino. Husha has arrived, though, as he tags his way in on the audacious charge. Enhao goes a little bit too deep, and the Grey Elf was not popped! Meanwhile, Olio, he could almost go down, but stays alive. Bang 2 is in trouble, flashes away. Woo boy, that was a little too deep, I think.
Yeah, it was an interesting trade. Definitely, I think both sides sort of misjudged where the jungling position actually was. I have to say, Olio actually had a completely correct read. So, Wako and Kino actually just walked up to that, died, and then Enhao went in and died. So, I think both of those plays were a little bit unnecessary, if I'm being completely honest. And judging by the situation, I would still have to say that it is Beyond Gaming that comes out just a little bit ahead because of that kill going over to Wako. Kill distribution coming out ahead there. And we'll just watch this again. They know they have the Xin Zhao in, but they misjudged the timing here. Olio actually has been hovering around this lane absolutely forever. Enhao, man, that is tough to watch right there.
I think he had the Grey Health. Yeah, no, he had to.
Yeah.
And he just didn't pop it. I mean, did he think he was going to survive the tower shot?
I'm not sure. I think his thought process was probably he was dead anyway, but that was definitely a mistake on his part. He probably died of shame because he didn't hit anyone with the crowd control. So, yeah, that happens sometimes. If you don't get the first thing to go well, then you sort of tilt yourself off the face of the earth. And now we have Beyond Gaming going in for seconds. There is no Summoners on Bang 2 and no Devourer at this stage.
Yeah, Bang 2 going to try and push this wave out, and they have to know that something's happening without seeing Kino show here. And it's just a little bit of counter jungling for Olio, and actually ends up being just the same for Husha. They don't end up going into the dive, but it does mean they open up for an Infernal Dragon. Oop. I see you tries for the big scoop up on Leong, doesn't find it.
Wow, the footsies there were pretty remarkable. I can't believe he was actually able to just simply walk out of that. I guess that's what the steel-plated boots do for you. Really nimble on that champion. So now we have the trade.
Yeah, I think they know this one's coming. Looking for the
Rabbitson,
lockdown. Here's the double root, and that's the go button right now. Minji over the wall. They're going to get Enhao starting on 1. Look for Bang 2. Audacious charge. Kino absorbs all the tower shots, and it was just beautiful execution from Beyond Gaming.
Yeah, I love that they waited for the Graviton, for the carries to just line themselves up, go backwards, force them into a bad situation. I actually feel like Bentu and Enhao would have been better if they walked forward, but it's really hard to know without vision in that situation. And the chain there coming in from Kino, landing the dredge line, and then into the charm. No chance for Thick Skin to come up for Enhao. That was just a pleasure to watch them execute that.
Not only that, they get a kill onto the Ahri, they get a kill onto the Aphelios. Olio is going to try to make a dive up here happen, and Liang does actually move forward, but again, it's so hard to get onto the Gwen. There's the mist, and as Nightstar is fond of saying, Gwen is immune.
She definitely is, and this is why Gwen is so powerful. I think the same thing with Renekton. She really allows you to put all of your eggs into the bot lane basket. You don't have to care about top lane. It's almost impossible to dive a Gwen. Her sustain ability and her hollowed mist is just way too good. You see that in action again. And Beyond Gaming, they're forced with an interesting question right here, as they do have a lot of pings onto top lane. They're thinking that maybe this could be a Herald start. So they do want to match, as we have Xin Zhao going to the top side. But Hurricane Gaming, actually, they have kind of outsmarted this situation, and their jungler is not in that place. I guess outsmart's kind of a weird word, as Hushach just actually takes the Herald.
They outsmarted
Never mind.
They outsmarted the perception of the thing that was happening. That wasn't actually happening. It's very complicated as Olio looks for a dive down onto the bottom side. It's League of Legends calculus, if you will. Husha is going to be able to clean up that Herald, though, and Olio really has to make this play count. They want to set up for the dive, but not going to be the easiest. He actually is second-guessing this. They're just going to push in. I don't know about this one. He's going to go for Krugs. Maybe they go for the extended play after the fact that they can build up another wave to it, but I don't know if I like that. This is going to be sniffed out, too. Olio, yep, the jig is up. He knows Kino's there. Going to have to hop the wall.
Really nicely done by the side of Beyond Gaming. They read the play correctly, and they just hard push the lane, set the turrets down. You want to expend your mana in this situation. Just make sure you're as safe as possible. It's actually much more dangerous if you let the wave crash into your lane at this point. You're going to be trapped in a very confined space. There was no flash on Wako, that they just put a Flame Chompers behind him. He was most likely dead, so good read from Beyond Gaming in their bot lane, just playing that one really nicely, slow and measured. And, they don't even lose a turret plating for that, so just it's basic stuff, but getting those reads in is definitely a necessity.
For sure. Little advantages start to add up here. Beyond Gaming, speaking of advantages, getting themselves just shy of 3,000 gold here. Sub 10 minutes, of course, they have the Herald and that first Dragon to play with, and really haven't lost much on the flip side. Hurricane only claiming that one kill in answer, and I think it might be, time for another push down on the bottom side. Husha holding on to that Eye of the Rift Herald.
Is trying to go for the first tower right off the bat, and they know at this point the bot lane is pretty far behind, a 2-0-1 on the Aphelios. They're getting into position first. Bang2 has to check this with the Zap. Oh, good move.
Oh, I feel like that was a bit of hesitation there from Beyond. I think they had the opportunity to go for the full charge, but rather than get the kill and the tower, they'll just settle for one, as it is absolutely a free buffet here for Shelly.
Yeah, the big difference here is really the fact that the mid lane can move whenever they want to. That's the strength of Ahri. Against a lot of these control mages, you can't follow Ahri. She will one-shot burst you. So they had to seed right away. Cha-Cha is very far behind the play. They get the second charge. They do have good wave clear here, though.
Yeah, Flame Chompers dodged just a little bit. That is going to be quite a lot of damage dished onto Wako and Kino. Do they have enough? Charm goes through, and Olio tries to flank around the side, but he actually gets turned on himself, as the collateral damage doesn't do quite as much as he would have hoped for, and that is going to be the end of that play. Meanwhile, top trades back and forth. This time goes in favor of ICU just briefly.
Really nicely done there, coming in from Beyond Gaming, just forcing out the Devour, trying to see if they can find something. Good fingers on Enhal, make sure that doesn't happen either. But the thing is, for Beyond Gaming, once they push that in, they can still rotate to other places on the map fairly easily. There really is no contest coming in from the bottom side of the map. So they can just continue to run this sort of play until Victor gets enough stacks to kind of push that in. Cha-Cha at this point should have the CS for the Death Ray. Indeed, we see the double explosions right there. So at least he's going to be able to keep this wave shoved out a lot more than he could before. And that should allow him to kind of follow up on these plays better. But the question is, can Hurricane Gaming still hold on and go later into this game? They do have pretty good burst combo with the collateral damage and the Chaos Storm just going down, but they still need a lot of time to scale up.
That's true. Give him a little bit of time.
Oh,
no, he's caught between so many members of Beyond Gaming. Got a little greedy for those Merc Wolves. He fed it right back to Minji.
Yeah, I don't think he was outside of vision in that play. I feel like he must have tipped off Beyond Gaming on some of these tripwires. You can see 2 wards there, and oh, wow.
Oh,
the
wow,
flash!
the intercept, though. Anyhow, what a bro support move.
Yeah, that was amazing to watch from Enhao. You can now go and play for BLG right now. Congratulations, man. You have passed the Uzi test. Onto the LPL you go. And I've been having a great game.
For your AD carry.
As you should. That is exactly what is expected of you.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's unfortunate he had to burn a flash for it, but I do think that may have ended up being a kill. Really, really good play. I mean, Kino sinking the long-range dredge line. I swear they're getting longer and longer these days. And Minji comboing up. I mean, Minji has looked so good on this Ahri.
I think he's the best Ahri we have in the PCS. The KDA
I agree with you.
You know, he's like 13 plus KDA on that champion, hasn't lost at all, and finds charms pretty consistently. Because we do have a 3v2 for Hurricane Gaming. Maybe they're going to try and push this?
Just a plate. Oh, they haven't quite secured it yet, actually, and Wako takes a lot of punishment. I think they'd really like to secure that. They have 30 seconds before plates are going to drop off the map. But you don't want to risk giving over a kill. You already have a pretty big gold lead here. Now, Husha actually coming up to join the party. 3v3.
This looks a little bit dangerous here. Alio can't really walk up here. Kino has almost the ultimate. He's basically just waiting for that before he goes in.
Oh, Husha goes deep. But he does turn back on. Tongue Lash comes through. And Husha is actually going to throw on the ultimate, try and keep himself alive. But that's going to prompt the counter engage here for Hurricane to get the knock up and root onto Kino. And Bang 2 opens up with a kill to get excited. Got to be careful, though, as the Moonlight Vigil comes right back and around. Greyhound this time going to be
in the back.
Spot up time for him to arrive.
No,
We look at Shotshot trying to come to the fight, but meanwhile, it's going to be turned on once again. The hop, skip, jump, and the death as Husha gets the finishing blow. Olio is going to get swallowed up, but the Tom Kench goes down. Teleport now, and it is all cleanup duty from Mega Bank Beyond Gaming. They're certainly cashing in as Shotshot arrives just in time to see his team evaporate.
Hurricane Gaming, they outplay the initial scuffle, but Minji comes in to clean everyone up. That was absolutely disgusting to watch from Minji. He goes from 2-0-2 to 4-0-2, and they get the top lane as well. So just very nice stuff coming in from him. That was kind of unfortunate for Alio. You could see the sidestep back behind Bang 2, and Bang 2, even with double summoners, just ends up dying because he couldn't anticipate his teammate. That was kind of tragic to watch, but we'll see that again. Husha definitely goes in a little bit too early here. The key thing to notice is Kino actually doesn't have his ult here. So Husha actually ends up taking a bunch of free damage and has to pop his ultimate prematurely, and he nearly ends up killing Kino in the process. Actually, I think Kino does die.
Yeah, he does, yeah. Yeah, Husha totally trolled his teammate there.
Yeah, but
like, this was a big win.
He gets enough time for Minji to come in here.
Wako actually makes a massive difference there, right? Like, that is a huge Moonlight Vigil, and then it immediately turns the attention. ICU almost gets away, and then Wako's like, no, I got him, and Husha burns him down at the end, and yeah, here's where it's all clean up, dude. Like, Minji, it's free. It's just so free.
Oh, Alio just straight trolling his teammate right there. That was kind of sad.
Hey, let's be honest, both junglers trolled their teams.
That's true. But I guess when you have the stronger team, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
Bang 2 could have outplayed that for a little while longer since he had double summons up, but Alio ain't giving you the chance.
I think he was dying probably either way. Like I'd almost rather still have the double sums here, but I don't know if they're going to be able to defend mid tower. I think this is a pretty big swing here. As Beyond are looking to come in, Shelly should get that charge off. Just enough to finish the tower. You definitely don't want to keep going, man. You got to keep careful. Oh, that massive root on the Gravitum. Minji just opens up and deletes Enhao again. The counter engage onto Husha. Look at that. Barely does enough as he soaks it all through the ult.
Yeah, he gets the Crescent Guard down. Minji goes in and forces another heal here. And this fight might just continue on to the Dragon.
I think it might. ICU, though, is out of Gnar at the moment. I don't think he's going to be able to contest on the opposite side of that. So just going to end up being the tower taken there by Beyond Gaming, extending their gold lead to, I mean, a pretty significant amount right now, about 8,000 or 7,500 ahead. They have all the other objectives on the map, too.
Yeah, Hurricane Gaming... time's definitely running out for them. They don't have enough damage, and I feel like Graves is one of those champions. If you fall behind the curve, there really is no getting back up. He's kind of the champion that has to be able to dissuade attackers just with his auto attacks. So things definitely not looking as they should be in this situation. I'm trying to think of a good way for Hurricane Gaming to kind of come back into this game. I feel like they have to allow Beyond Gaming to open up at the fight and then somehow outplay with the Chaos Storm, you know, breaking channels, or with the smoke screen kind of dealing lots of damage, but don't have a huge opportunity when they go forward first. They definitely are on the back foot and have to play counter.
Speaking of counter, well, trying to bring 3 to the party to take down Minji. They get the lick off, doesn't matter. Man, even playing it safe with the Swallow, the Devour, to try and stop him from getting a deletion off. I mean, you can see how scared they are playing. And Minji is chasing 1v3! Kino's at his back,
got
but
9
still.
tails and no fears.
Absolutely not. 9 takedowns, too.
That's the entire map going over to Beyond Gaming as Minji just gets to chase 3 people back to their own base. We do have a Death Brush here from Alio. Maybe they can do something.
Oh, no, but Kino, he calls the bluff, and Cha-Cha gets deleted. The Chaos Storm comes out, dodged away. Super Mega Death Rocket is going to take a bite out of Kino's health bar, and ICU can really only, honestly, push Husha alone into the wall. Maybe they can turn something here, but Wako's down. Now no more Meganar means they have no more tank. Opening up again on a massive needlework, and even with the flash, they cannot get away. Wako gets a triple. The ace comes through clean. And forget Beyond Gaming, it's beyond the Nexus at this point. I think this is going to be a massive push, if not a straight-up end.
Our answer in this game after the draft was, could Beyond Gaming play a more fast-tempo game? Could they try to outskill the opponent and just try to out-skirmish them? And the answer is very clearly yes. We could see a good chuckle from Leon there. He's very happy about the fact that they just called the Death Brush. That was unfortunate for Hurricane Gaming. I don't even think that was the incorrect play. But Kino, as a very veteran support, he knew what was in store. We see Cha-Cha. He's able to get his burst down, but not on the correct target. So they're able to just walk away from that one. ICU jumps into a very bad situation, gets sandwiched on 3 sides, just dies, and then guess what? Wako has the perfect guns waiting for them. They just follow up with the triple kill. This is looking like, honestly, a massacre here, and I feel like Hurricane Gaming, they got this composition, and they got to play a late game in the first round robin. Beyond Gaming has now counteracted that.
Certainly. 20 minutes. A massive lead of about 10,000 gold. Another charm. Olio. Oh, good night. Not a whole lot he can do about that, and it does beg the question of these choices of champions. Sometimes they put themselves in risky situations, especially Olio, relying on getting ahead early. I mean, it does feel like Olio really loves these Sinner junglers, but it hasn't worked for him.
Yeah, he always builds damage. It doesn't even matter if he's playing a tank champion. Like, he is going to go the Divine Thunder on the Volibear and on the Hecarim too. And that's always risky because, you know, as a jungler, you don't get that many resources. Goodbye and now.
Oh, man. Tom Kench looking a little thin there on the health bar as he is cut down to size once again. Liang finding ICU into the mist. Garbar going up pretty high. Nice charm onto Cha-Cha. Oh, forced to flash away. Counter engage. That's going to be the Nara into the wall. And they do shut down Liang. So ICU gets a little catharsis there in what is effectively an extended 1v1.
That's a pretty good bounty as well. And I feel like Beyond Gaming are having a good laugh, baiting Gwen back into the fight. Just getting kill off of that one. The next big target here is, of course, the Ocean Drake coming up. Hurricane Gaming, I would say at this point, I don't even think you contest it. It's probably better to just leave it be and continue to scale up. I don't see them making it out in this situation. And I do want to point out that we have another Horizon focus coming in from Minji. He's very confident on his charms. That's why you would see so many Horizon focuses being bought here. Pretty much kind of the only Ahri player that's been consistently going for this item.
Yeah, well, and he's certainly, you know, the only Ahri player that's been consistently hitting just about every skill shot, and he's earned it. I was looking at that item, but then I also glanced over to the left and realized, oh, he's got a full stack Medjai's.
True. So I guess you can, you know, you can go with the less consistent item, but the definitely the higher reward item in the Horizon Focus. You do get that enhanced damage if you do land immobilizing abilities there. Of course, the charm on Ahri. You know, you don't really think about Horizon Focus as an Ahri item because she's actually much more shorter range than most mages, but if you can land the charm, you can make it work.
Yeah, and he's been able to nail it. Ooh, Kino, he nearly finds an opening there, but just dodged this time around. And another champion, or another player that's really good at hitting his skill shots, Kino. And Wako goes in. Moonlight Vigil does not land, but that's okay. They just can chase them off the dragon. This would be, if they wanted it, either the Baron start or
Minji.
the Dragon's Soul Point. Whoa, boy, Minji! All he needs to do is hit one, and you called it. He is dancing around everybody for a double, looking for a third. He doesn't even need his team in his back. Another charm, and Husha steals it away like a scumbag.
That was so smart from Minji. Everyone was focusing on the Drake. Nobody is looking at the left side of the lane, and that is where Minji decides to strike. I love watching Minji on Assassins. This guy is just phenomenal in his sense of understanding where the enemy expects him to be and then surprising him.
And they just blow the rest of the team up. ICU going to come off cooldown, but even with the full stack, Gnar doesn't really matter. Does get a massive one into the wall. Bang 2 would need to be an absolute hero here. And they are cut a little down to size, but he's retreating immediately to the fountain as the last Nexus turret is going to fall. They turn back on Olio, tries to get the shot out in the back. Big Aphelios for Wako as he's coming through, and Bang 2 just does not have enough damage. Needed to upgrade himself to Bang 3 or 4, and the Nexus is gonna shred as Beyond Gaming pick themselves up another victory here in Week 4.
You might try to amp it up all the way to Bang 10 and see if that actually works out, but congratulations to Beyond Gaming. They prove a lot of the doubters wrong, and they showcase a game where they actually snowball from start to finish. This is not your typical Minji game. Usually we see him huddled much closer to his turret. He usually gets pushed in the lane. Hasn't really been known as the best of laning mid laners, but this time I think he combined a good laning phase with a upstanding assassin game as well. That was so fun to watch. I love the Horizon Focus. I love the early Dark Seal. He definitely knew his limits on this champion.
Oh, yeah, for sure, and he definitely was looking to push him. Not just bullying Chacha, but really just finding the openings, roaming everywhere, and setting up for the plays, whether it was cleanup duty or otherwise. Minji had an absolutely fantastic game. Wako did what he needed to. Kino was landing hooks all over the place, and honestly, even with a handful of troll plays, I think, from Husha and maybe Liang getting a little bit baited in some of those last fights, it just did not matter. There was nothing really Hurricane could do. They were just slowly pushed back and back and back, but trying to find the fights, a few moments, a few skirmishes going their favor, but that was about it.
Yeah, and I have to say, I don't really fault... Oh, we're going to have to watch this again.
Oh,
this
Minji Vision.
Money play.
This is beautiful. This has got to be in one of the top 5 plays next week.
Yeah, just look at the way that he shoots out his skill shots as well. He does try to just scuff people with the hitbox. You know, he's not aiming dead center. He's actually maximizing his path route by knowing that, you know, if I just clip you, the damage goes through. That's the one thing about League of Legends that people don't really get with normal life. You don't have to enter. You don't have to aim for center mass. It's usually good enough. You just tick them on their hairs or, you know, on their collars, and the damage is going to go through. So really good pathing, great understanding of where the enemy vision is, where their attention is. You know, watching good assassins is like watching a good magic show, and Minji definitely put on a great show for us. Yeah,
well, I mean, he certainly made a lot of health bars disappear on the Hurricane Gaming side. So I really think that, you know, watching him play other styles of champion is a little bit 50-50 at times, but when he's given the chance to run like a snowballing assassin, we've already seen the Akali, the Ahri certainly adds to that repertoire. It's terrifying, and I think this is something that other teams have to watch out for when facing down against the likes of Minji, because we do have a lot of stacked mid laners in this league, but different types of stacked mid laners, right? Like, this is a league that no longer has Maple in it. I feel like Minji can certainly look to try and make a claim as, like, you know, assassin player #1, and Beyond Gaming, they've shown that they have options. Yes, this is against one of the bottom teams in the league, but they showed they can play a clean snowballing tempo game to a T, and they did exactly what they needed to close this one out in a faster time, a much faster time than when the teams last met, lasting at 29 minutes. This one just under 24.
Yeah, I think overall what this means is that you can't give Husha the best tempo jungler in the game. If you give him Xin Zhao, he's going to be able to duo up with Minji and just snowball out of control, completely out of hand in this case. 10-0-9. I want to check how many times he's died on Ahri, but his previous KDA was already over double digits, and this is going to skyrocket it even more.
Yeah,
and I think that's kind of the key thing. Like, if you deny them a superior mid-jungle duo, then that really dampens down Minji's potential. You know, he's not going to win the lane by himself. So I think you just have to start from denying Husha, and then you also kind of shut down Minji as an added bonus.
Absolutely. I'm actually checking in on those Ahri games. He had 2 deaths on Ahri up against Sem9 and 0 against CFO. So, yeah, 2 deaths total on this Ahri. Definitely making a play for an incredibly terrifying performance. Maybe ban-worthy more than the Akali. I think that teams are going to have to take notice of this player.
Yeah, I love the adaptation for Beyond Gaming. They're saying, hey, sure, we might not have the best laners across the board. We do have slow starts, but we are going to get the best tempo gankers, the Rek'Sais, and the Xin Zhaos, and we're just going to hard force these kills to actually happen, and that's how we're going to snowball the game. It's a perfect solution to kind of bridge the gap between their very slow, sluggish early games and their great 1-3-1s and their flanks.
Absolutely. All right, well, a clean game done and dusted. We will be right back after this break for Frank Esports versus J-Team.